Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. It's another Somebody Said TV. I'm Kathia Devon, the moderator, and I'm going to pass it to my homegirl, Jena.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us again. I am Jena, also known as Overdressed RVA, the influencer, boy, mom, and the woman with 20 jobs.
I'm Corey Boone, Corey W. Boone on Instagram, and today is the last day of Libra season, and I am incredibly sad. Yeah.
Libras.
Yes. Shalena.
I'm Shalena, aka Dr. Hurd, licensed psychologist, resident Philly Joan, and ready to get started tonight.
Ooh. So, first of all, I feel really good today.
I know, me too.
Good.
Today I did go to my second home, RVA, and I got to do Overdressed RVA's radio show and have lunch with the Corey Boone. So, I feel a little recharged and ready for tonight. I saw Shalene. I saw you on Sunday.
Yep, this past weekend. I'm kind of mad I missed the Richmond reunion. I could have cleared my schedule to be a part of that.
Well, next time we are going to make it happen.
Okay.
So anyway.
Come here anytime, babe.
Yes.
Well, friends and family, thank you for joining us again. And we're going to start off tonight with a hard topic. I think more and more we're seeing information about this. And let me just say, I feel like these past 2 weeks have been a lot. Like, there's really been a lot going on. So much so that some of these things were lingering. And so it was so hectic last week that we almost jumped on YouTube like last Thursday. But luckily, we still have some things to talk about. So we're starting off with SARS. By now, you all have probably all seen what's happening in Nigeria. And basically, what they're dealing with is a special, what's the A4? Anti-robbery.
That's Anti-robbery squad, yeah.
Anti-robbery squad. And much like here in the U.S., this particular police force has a terrible reputation of profiling Nigerian youth. It is said that they're stopped for having nice things, anything from a phone to how they dress, to the cars that they're driving. They've been accused of stealing from some of the different citizens. They've been accused of sexual assault. And there's been protests happening over time. And at one point, they mentioned that SARS had been disbanded. But basically, they decided to do the same thing under a different name, kind of like police reform. But anyway, so very recently this week, I think things took a tragic toll after a protest when there were a number of youth that were shot and killed by Nigerian military. And it's really gotten bad. So we definitely want to start there and give our loves, give our fight, our thoughts to our Nigerian brothers and sisters. Corey, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Yeah. I was going to make a joke and say that I'm 37% Nigerian, so I feel it, but I probably will make that joke. But, I mean, literally, there has been a lot of bloodshed going on in Nigeria, and it is basically disgusting on a rights level that people are being treated the way that they are being treated, basically for saying that we no longer want to be abused by this group. And I understand that the Nigerian president or parliamentarian came out today and basically said some things, but never touched. He wanted the protests to stop, but never touched on the fact that this military or militia group was actually attacking the Nigerian people. And so our hearts just go out to the Nigerian people and want to amplify the movement to stop this abuse of that group of people. And I love what many people have been posted saying that it's not just American Black lives that matter, it's all Black lives that matter. So I really love that notion. And so we all want to collectively support them in their fight for human rights. They should not be abused the way that they are. So.
Absolutely. And one of the things that's good about us talking about this here, I did see that one of the things the Nigerian government wanted to do was to try to disconnect the citizens from the internet. So there would be less coverage of just everything that's happening over there. And one of the things that it was said that we can do is continuing to make sure that us here who do have access to the internet, who are still able to use these different social media platforms, one of the best things it is that we can do is continue to talk about it and make sure that this is still making news.
Yeah.
So for anybody who is wondering what they can individually do to help this situation, just the use of your platform is something that can help. But that brings me to what has recently been a big thing about what celebrities should do in these kinds of situations. And Beyonce has been under attack. A lot of people are not feeling the fact that she used Nigerian talent, different African people from various countries in Black is King. And they feel like with this particular situation going on, she should do something. I don't think I've necessarily saw what they think she should do, but there's been a call of action specifically to Beyonce.
Who said that?
I was gonna say we love Beyonce, obviously, but I'm gonna let her super fan here give her thoughts on this whole situation.
Okay, thank you. And I echo what Corey said and what you're saying. We have to use our platforms, we have to use our voices, because to be silent in any form of injustice is just as bad as the injustice itself. So if we have a platform and we can talk about it, and innocent people are being silenced and abused and assaulted and, you know, just treated unlawfully and inhumanely, we all have a part. We all have a responsibility as humans on this planet to do our part to help each other. That being said, if you can do something with what you have where you are. I don't know who to Beyonce to be like, this is your problem that you're supposed to fix because you showcased African culture and used Nigerian, you know, talent and all that stuff. But if that's the case, call out Disney, call out Steven Spielberg, call out Don Cheadle, call out everybody who's ever had any type of benefit from African culture, which is the entire planet. But to just say Beyonce because the Black is King, I'm not gonna. I can't speak for what she is or isn't doing, and I'm not gonna tell any woman what she should or shouldn't do with her resources because I dare somebody to come and tell me what I should do. But I encourage everybody to do what you can where you are with what you have. But I'm definitely not canceling Beyonce because somebody said they thought she's supposed to go.
You would never cancel Beyonce, Jena. She could do nothing to be canceled.
No, there's limits, but her saving Nigeria as an individual.
Support against SARS. My thing is what I do know about my good friend Jay-Z is that he moves in silence. And I wouldn't be surprised if Beyonce is out doing the same. So to your point, Jena, like, we don't know what she is doing. Like, do I need her to make another PSA about this? Not necessarily. Is there move the needle? I mean, actually, I could do without that. But we don't know what they're doing to advocate for things behind closed doors. And I just feel like we just give these celebrities too much power and too much responsibility. And I don't need everybody fighting every cause and being vocal about it. Like, that's not everybody's ministry. That's not everybody's gift. So again, it's possible right. And it's possible they're doing things that we don't know about, but to call her out and to want her to do what exactly, I just feel like it's a bit much.
Well, to answer the question of where this came from, Henry mentioned that it started from No Name. I wanted to point out, Raina, she said Miss Tina came out and said that today, not my daughter. And listen, look, Raina, I feel you. I love Tina's response. And I think that she said some very key things about taking time, learning about the situation, kind of researching the situation, and literally seeing what it is that you can do.
Right.
So it's one of those things that is kind of like these things take time. We are in a global pandemic still. So I don't know. I think sometimes that people are being outraged by everything, and as it was said here in the comments, unity is key. And I don't doubt that if Beyonce has the resources to help in some way, that's something that she wouldn't do.
100% agree. I'm not canceling her.
Well, I think what's so interesting is that it reminds me a little bit. It's not the same at all, but it reminds me kind of when people were calling out Michelle for not giving Beyonce a birthday wish, and it's like, well, wait. Just because I don't put something on social media does not mean I'm actually not doing something.
Like, we could just be having dinner right now together, and it's none of your damn business.
Right.
Yeah.
I completely agree with Miss Tina. I think that I have heard some organizers say before that the last thing they need is a celebrity just showing up to a movement and not kind of knowing what's going on and just basically and causing distraction. I think that a lot of organizers are asking celebrities that they do want to help to actually come to them to see how they can actually help the situation. So I completely agree about becoming informed about how you can support the movement, support the Nigerian people, and then from there do what you have to do. And I would have to probably agree that they're probably moving in silence. They're probably keeping some things to themselves as they do that, because we don't have to know everything that they do. But I think that on the other hand, I think it is good to call out capitalism a little bit, but I think that sometimes you got to let people be human as well, and you got to give Beyonce a day or two or a week to figure out what her action or plan is and how she wants to support people. Because I'm assuming what I think I know about Beyonce, I would assume that she probably has reached out to the artists and the people that she has worked with in different projects to check in and see how they're doing and see how their families are doing. I'm imagining on a human to human level that she may have done that already. So we have to call out capitalism, call out that system, of course, but we have to be able to allow people to be human as well. So it's an interesting situation for sure.
And to your point, Corey, about them not having access to the internet, all of that ties into staying informed and getting informed, knowing what's really going on out there. So to blindly make a blanket statement about something that we don't even know that we're getting the full story of, and we are, compared to Beyonce, who are we? And for Beyonce to have the resources and the connections that she has, and for it to be a situation where communication, like worldwide communication or communication in general, is being limited or cut off there, for you to not know what's really going on unless you're there. Yeah, I'm not telling any mother, any daughter, anybody to go save a country. Like, this is not a movie. Like, this is real life. Mm-hmm. Like, no. Like, you're not calling out Marvel. You're not calling out like you just decided that, boom, Beyonce is the one. That's the one we want to pick on about this. That's the one we're going to pick on, and I'm not here for it.
Well, I think we all, it looks like, and our co-hosts agree, it's like at this point, we're all trying to figure some things out. So feel free to continue to, like I said, send information. I think the notice about the internet being off is the most useful thing that I got as far as what we can do individually. But Corey, we're going to go ahead and pass it to you for our political check-in, because on the same lines, we have another celebrity who has jumped to the forefront and taken on a challenge. Isn't that what we want?
Oh yeah, you know.
Careful what you ask for. See, you see.
Speaking for all of Black people.
But, so today, Corey, we're gonna cover some Ice Cube business.
Yes.
We're gonna get a little bit into the presidential debate, probably just telling y'all that it's coming on. Weeks bit. And then we'll do some stuff about voter suppression. So let's get right to it.
Yeah, so the coonery is on high in fall 2020. So to add to Ice Cube, we just had 50 Cent to come out. I'm sorry for laughing. This is just laughable BS. 50 Cent just came out recently and said that he is voting for Trump because Biden has a tax plan that would, basically Biden is saying that in his tax plan, he plans to increase taxes, probably from 0 to a certain percentage for people who make over $400,000. Of course, we know that a lot of rich people have been riding high in the Trump throughout the Trump years because they basically broke that tax code down. And so what 50 Cent is saying is, I don't want to pay my fair share. I'm voting for Trump. So along with that, we found out recently that Ice Cube is working with the Trump administration to come up with a platinum plan, they're calling it. Ice Cube has been pushing this whole, or being a political leader of the contract for Black America. He's been pushing this whole thing. And I completely get what he's saying. Like, on the part of it, the Democrats have taken the Black vote for granted. But the Republicans aren't doing any better. Like, they're actually trying to co-opt and pander to us, just as Democrats have done as well. But listen, like, to basically say you want to go to one of the most fear-mongering, race-affirming administrations ever in our nation's history. Not the most, but I mean one of the most. It's kind of laughable. Like, how are you even having these conversations with them?
Corey, who asked him to do that? Who asked Cube to do that?
Okay, wait. So I feel like that I have to interject here because I am not feeling all of the backlash against Cube, and I'm gonna tell you why. One, you put him in the same sentence as 50 Cent, and that I can't ever rock with. But I'm gonna start off with this. So for me, I feel like Ice Cube has shown himself over the years to be a respectable adult. Yes or no?
I don't know where this is going, but I'll say yes.
I don't know enough about him to make
cute.
I think so. A lot of times for me, when I judge people or I try to take anything about their character, for me, it always comes down to like, how did your family feel about you? Your wife, your children's mother, and your kids. So for that alone, I can listen to an Ice Cube over a 50 Cent. But I do want to clarify some things because the comments are blowing up that he presented the plan to both parties.
Yes.
And the thing is that this isn't something that just happened. This is something he put together when George Floyd happened.
Okay.
So he said that he was specifically devastated at that moment. And I don't know if you remember some time ago, he was supposed to go on Good Morning America around that time, and he was just not feeling it. And Black America is like, yeah, Cube, you right, F them, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
So where? I didn't get the notice to vote for Ice Cube to speak on behalf of Black America.
Hold on.
That's what, can somebody comment on that?
But the thing is that he did not come up with this plan. He worked with other people, experts in these different areas, to come up with this plan. And he presented it to both parties. And the reality of it is that I think that everybody is so frustrated because we're scared. Like, at this point, Trump is seemingly the absolute worst thing that can happen to America in our lifetime. And everybody is scared and everybody is looking for something new to happen. And I think the problem with Ice Cube is that it kind of touches on that thing of like, what Diddy and Charlemagne tried to do a few months ago about the Black vote not being free and creating some confusion there. But I don't think that the intention was ever to support anyone. I don't think, as far as you comparing it to 50 Cent, the intention had anything to do with his taxes. I really think that it was an emotional decision, and it's one of these things that all of us are trying to figure out.
So I agree with the fact that we're trying to figure it out, and that his heart may have been in the right place. Him working with other people, I completely fine with that. I think, though, I will have to be honest that, and I will say that the Republicans did say they changed some of their plans, or I should say the Trump campaign changed some things in their plan to reflect it. But I guess my question is for him, how serious do you think the Trump administration is going to take this? Do you really just think that they're co-opting you and your contract and your work that you've been doing to use you to prop that up to say, yes, we're good for Black people, or, oh, we're okay for Black people, or, oh, you should be able to vote for us, we're not that racist? And I think we have to be a little bit more conscious about who we're trying to work with. This kind of falls in line with the same argument that Steve Harvey did when he met with Trump before he became president back in 2016 or 2017. And it's like, you gotta kind of know what these things look like. You also have to be politically savvy as well to understand how you're being used. And I think somebody had a good comment or a good quote about it. It's like, if you're not at the table, then you're being eaten. And I get that. You want to be able to go to both parties and say, like, hey, this is something that, as the two parties, one of you all are going to win the election. You all need to be cognizant of that. I still can't rock with it, though, because I feel like at the same time you're trying to make sure that you are speaking for the entire Black community, and you're trying to push certain things, which I will have to be honest, I have not seen what those things are. So I'm hoping there is some LGBTQ things in there. I'm hoping there's some protection for Black women in there. I'm hoping it is. I hope it's not a Hotep calling card or a Hotep outline. I hope so. But I will say that you're right, Kathia. I think Ice Cube has certainly been a part of the Black community and has done great things for the Black community. But I think people are questioning motive. Has something changed for him because of finances? Like, when you get to a certain level and you're making a certain level of money, are you out of touch with certain things, which I guess could be mitigated by working with other people? But again, we have to be politically savvy to not make sure that we're not being co-opted by a whole party, because the whole point of us even finding out was the fact that the Trump administration announced that he was involved with that. Like, he didn't.
Well, and I think that that's the difference from the likes of like a Steve Harvey, because it was one of those things where it was, I'm not just coming to meet with you. I have some things in place that I spoke with experts about that I think that can work. And it's like, people can have different opinions about Ice Cube, but I do feel like there's also something there about the Democratic Party just rejecting to have a conversation about it altogether. And you mentioned this thing about being co-opted, where the reality of it is that we already have been. I mean, the reality of it is that the worst cities are ran by Democrats. We know this. We know this about Chicago. We know this about Baltimore. And
not all, but a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that, like I said, people are scared. I get the timing of it does not feel comfortable. But for me, I think that I'm in a place where I'm like, what specifically can I do? And I've mentioned this to you all before with my move coming up. It's like, city council, whatever, that's me. Like, I need to sit in on these meetings and I need to see it from the ground up, because everybody keeps telling me to vote, and I'm going to vote, but it's so much bigger than that. And I think that, what I have in my platform, I can't say, hey, Biden, hey, Trump, this what I got, call me up. But it goes back to this thing of, do you want people who have access, how do you want them to use it? Like, you can't have it both ways. Like, responsible, but then to say that they don't know enough.
Right, and I think that then it comes into a whole conversation of, well, what did you require of Trump to receive this plan? What did you require of Trump in the campaign, excuse me, to sit down with you? What did you require of Biden to sit? Like, where is the accountability? And I know we need to move on, and I want us to kind of catch up on some of the comments that are in here. While we're doing that, Shalena and Jena, if you have anything to come in. I like Henry's comment. We have to look at the character of these people, though. Steve Harvey ain't for us.
I agree. Henry.
And that's the thing with it.
But I would have to say that people believe that. Raven said, I think he presented this and now he has to see it through, because if not, people would question his sincerity and belief of his proposal. I agree with that. He basically is, he went out there to work with them, and he is going to have to see that through a little bit.
The thing that bothers me about it is, I understand that you have a plan, but it looks very opportunistic because you said, I just talked to who answered me. So it's not that you have this power and this platform and you're using it for good. You are paying attention to the person who answered your call. It's not the person that's going to get it done. It's not the person that's going to respect what you're saying and implement things based on the research and the resources that you pulled to put this great plan together that are for people who need a voice. You are talking to people because they answer the phone. It's like you work in a place and you know that they don't respect you. You know that you're just a number. And the minute that you mess up, you're going to get fired. But you always putting something in the suggestion box.
And Jena, when you were saying that, it reminds me, this Republican Party or this administration or campaign or leadership team or whatever you want to call it is not the same as other Republicans. I would have been probably more comfortable with him going to a George Bush, granted trash.
I mean, but we say that now. Remember, we thought that George Bush
was the worst.
Right. The Reagan Republicans, they were a different type of people. I've heard the Reagan Republicans are a different breed of people.
The Trump administration is just such a whole different subset. They are nasty. They are literally working. There are 545 children who can't even find their parents because they deported their parents. Granted, the Obama administration deported people too. But I do not remember this whole thing about separating the children and then keeping the children separate from their parents and then basically deporting their parents out of the country.
Oh, yeah.
People are absolutely nasty. Yeah. I guess my whole thing is they are the seediest, they are the dirtiest, they are the nastiest, they are the worst part of politics personified. I shouldn't say George Bush because he was the worst, but I'll say generic Republican. Generic Republican who may not be a total asshole. I think that would be much more acceptable than the Trump administration. There's just something diametrically different about the Trump administration, for me at least, I should say. But I know we got to move on. I want to quickly talk about.
Well, I'm not going to debate you anymore because they're going to be able to debate with each other. Okay.
Listen. All props to people who want to say they do work. I just feel like you need to make sure that you are including as many voices. And again, I'm sure that Ice Cube is thinking this through, but we just want
to see an announcement, a town hall, something to let me know you're doing this, get the community participation. Like, it's just weird when people who are not known for advocating in this way just come out and all of a sudden they speaking for everybody. I'm like, hold on, where you come from? Like, what are you doing? Like,
I just discussed it on a number of Black platforms. He did. It was on Red Table Talk. It was on a Foxhole. It was on a number of Black platforms.
Who's watching Foxhole?
A lot of people watch Foxhole. I mean, y'all said you said a table for us. Like, we're watching Foxhole.
Yeah, no, I'm being funny, but you see.
My final question is, if, like, to Shalena's point, the town hall, the action behind it, if the Democratic Party called Ice Cube tomorrow and was like, we read it, we didn't want to call you and just say, yeah, let's come and talk about it. We wanted to put an action behind it and we went in depth and this is what our plan is. Are you open to it? Would he say yes or no?
I think he would say, I think he would say yes, because the reality of it is that nothing is going to happen at least until January. So I don't think that this really had anything to do with, again, Trump or Biden. There were two options as far as these platforms that he could talk to. And I mean, that's where it went.
You know, in response to that, there is another theory out there about, do we have to continue to work through all these? Do we have to continue to go to the top and work with the president? Why not we try to work with, Kathia, I think you mentioned this a little bit earlier, why not try to work with governors or mayors or work on a different level? Why are we always trying to go to the top of this? Because it just, to me, it's much more than president. Like the bumpy roads and the potholes, it's my mayor who needs to handle that. It's not, it's never the president of the United States. So I think that there are different ways and different tactics to get around to this, and I think sometimes we have to be a little bit more cognizant. I think working with nonprofits and organizations that are doing this work,
community action. What's up?
It's more important to me than building a document and going to political presidential campaigns and saying, "Hey, I need you to pay attention to me while you're campaigning." I'm just saying.
Again, I am done debating with you.
Oh my goodness!
It is debate tonight.
If you all have not seen the Vogue dancing of some of our political leaders, you have to see it. It is absolutely amazing. Somebody did like this video gift thing with people voguing, and somebody just mentioned Mitch McConnell that reminded me of that whole. You got to watch it. Anyway, presidential debate is happening tonight in an hour at 9:00 on the East Coast. Of course, 6:00 on the West Coast. And yeah, if you want to watch it, you can. Apparently, they are deciding to cut the mics. That may help.
It will be virtual.
Somebody said it's coming on now. You spend so much time arguing, they're going to miss it.
Oh, actually, I think it's commissary right now.
I was going to say, yeah.
Never mind.
It starts at 8 p.m., but yeah, I think that's the build up. The actual debate starts at 9.
It starts at 9. So, but yeah, watch it if you want to watch it. It's the second and the final one. It may be some funnies that come out of it. Honestly, I don't think there are many people in this entire country or world who don't already have an opinion as to who they want to win the election. So watch it if you want. Yeah. And lastly, voting. Okay, so the next time we have this episode will be November 5th. And that will be 2 days after the election has happened, or the election day, and the polls have closed. We at SSTV want to definitely promote not only going to vote, but reading directions, being very persistent in voting, because there are forces, organizations, people, political parties that are strategically working to suppress your vote and intimidate you from voting. I want to make sure that's included as well. So we did see the story that there was apparently a police in Miami who wore a Trump branded mask while working at while being at a voting poll, and people, a lot of people were calling that out. The officer is going to be reprimanded for that, because police officers in Miami cannot be branded with political insignia. So he will be reprimanded, but still, that's just not the only thing that's happening. You have people out here who are literally creating fake drop-off boxes. You have people who are, especially in the past, have told people different dates and times to vote. They have muddied the waters on social media. You have people, like a lot of people who are supporting Trump, to come out with flags and banners and go out to early voting polls and just, I guess, make noise. I don't know. It's really weird. It's a really weird thing. It's a really weird time. Please read your directions. I will actually even say, what I don't want to happen is people wait until November 3rd and it starts to rain and they're like, oh, I don't want to go out to vote. If you have time and if you are able to early vote, go ahead and get it done.
I'm going Monday, early voting in Maryland.
Yeah.
I took somebody with me. I went 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the point to that is, take a friend. If there's voter suppression, voter intimidation, there's a reason why you don't feel like you're going to be safe. Take somebody with you. That's 2 votes, at least. So if you want to vote and you want to vote early and you're worried about something, don't go alone. It's a win-win.
No, that's a great point. That's a great point. And I just want to stress, we got to make sure we read the directions. Know if you need to put your ballot in an additional envelope. Know if you need to have a witness to sign your ballot. I signed a friend of mine's ballot. So please just make sure you read the directions.
Ahead of time.
Yeah, ahead of time. Cannot. And also before because I know we got to quickly move on to other things. I want to also say that we have to be patient with results.
Oh yeah.
We're not going to know who is president by the end of the night. We just aren't going to know.
I would be so happy if we knew by Thursday, by our next episode.
Right. I'm gonna give him a week.
I voted, so you can count mine in October. But whatever.
And that's what's going to have to happen. A lot of people are. So I wanted to say this: almost 50 million people, which is a third of all the people who voted in 2016, have already voted by mail or voted in person early. So you have a significant number of people. And I love what Raven just said. The deadline to vote is November 3rd. It's not the day to vote. I love that. I love that. And I cannot stress that enough. That is such perfect, Raven. We have to make sure we know that you can vote in a lot of states, Florida, Georgia, so many states. And catch this. A lot of these places, especially in Republican-ran states, they're having a situation where they are closing polling places and having a crazy number of people, astronomical amount of people trying to vote in one place, where they have to wait there for 9 hours. That is voter suppression. That is what we need to fight. That's what I'm hoping is a part of Ice Cube's coalition, or excuse me, his
coalition,
his platform, his contract. I'm hoping that voter suppression is a part of that. Needless here to say, that's my political points for the day.
It's a lot on there. You should read it. It might help next year. But anyway, can we have some fun now?
Yes.
Man, yes.
So let's go into other news. You know, Black people been into politics, but we also love weddings. So we can graduate. We can congratulate. Sheesh. And Cynthia and Mike Hill on their wedding. I feel like this is like a second time for both of them, or a third time. But either way, for those of you who watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, Cynthia Bailey is one of the cast members. Mike Hill is a sports commentator. He's been on different shows, but he is actually on Fox Soul for the smart something in the room. But what did you think? We got flooded with all of the wedding pictures. It was a 250 guest list at a wedding in a global pandemic. Everybody showed up. They were in their black and white. So our Bravo expert, Jena, I know you're dying to say something.
Yeah.
First of all, I would like to say that Cynthia Bailey is one of my favorite housewives, like top 3. I love me some Cynthia Bailey. Cynthia Bailey will slay the scene, and these housewives will deal. Cynthia's strong suit is not weddings. And I say that with love. And she's good at 99.99% of things. And then the 0.1% is weddings. And I'm sure that it was beautiful. I thought everybody except Giselle looked great. Cynthia's dress, okay, let me backtrack, because the ceremony itself, there was a last minute change, and to Kathia's points about the facts of the event itself, it was like 200 and some odd people. It was indoors. It was during a global pandemic. And at the last minute, due to weather, their ceremony had to be moved indoors. So Mike and Cynthia were very proactive in making sure that everybody was safe. Masks were required. I cannot speak to the people who took them off.
Somebody said there was a whole bunch of people in no mask.
I can't speak to it, but all I know is what Cynthia said, People Magazine, and I read it, and I can go by the host. because they know what they said and what they did and what they wanted. If people respected that or whatever, it's not my business. I wasn't there. I don't know the logistics and the layout of the room. So Mike and Cynthia were proactive, and they hired a third-party cleaning crew to come in and deep clean the event site to make sure that it was pre-cleaned professionally. No shade to the venue itself or the facility and what they can provide, but they were being very proactive in the idea that, like, we have to keep people safe. The one thing that Cynthia's reception dress, perfection. It was breathtaking. She looked perfect in it. Cynthia's breathtaking in a brown paper bag, to be clear.
Gorgeous.
That ceremony dress made me sad. And it made me sad because that dress was not good enough for Cynthia. And I think that it was a beautiful day. I think Noelle, I think the daughter, like the children, everybody looked gorgeous. I think one of the daughters wasn't there. I don't know. Anyway, who was there? Everybody was beautiful. We all know that Kenya's not my favorite person. If you don't know, now you know. She looked beautiful. Give credit where credit is due. But that ceremony dress was not good enough for Cynthia Bailey Hill. And I wish them all the success, all the beauty, and all the wonders and joys that love and life has to offer them. And I'm hoping that nobody tested positive for COVID from that event. I haven't heard anything. I don't think that anybody has. So whatever efforts were, they were fruitful and they multiplied, and that's great. But that wedding dress was just like I like the black one better.
Well, Jena, to your face, you know I've been saying this, and so Cynthia Bailey is my favorite housewife. She's the one for me. I think that she is a very beautiful, sophisticated, fun woman, and I love seeing that for a mature woman in her 50s. It's like she's a vibe. Love it. But she's such a trendsetter. You see that even on the show. Like she goes against the grain. Like a lot of the women come on these reality TV shows and they're trying so hard. And Cynthia just does Cynthia. And I think that's why I was just so disappointed with the wedding dress look, because one, it reminded me so much of Nene's second wedding. I think that's one of the things that just really had me like, no, Cynthia Bailey is better than this. And a lot of Cynthia's look, she does herself. She can do her own hair. She can do her own makeup. She can do her own look. She doesn't have to fly out all these teams that other people are doing. So I think that was what it was for me. But the reception dress, absolutely perfection. That was her lane. I wish I would have saw that dress first, because the first one had me like, and I don't like to see my girl like that.
And I was trying to imagine that first dress like in a garden wedding with all of these sprays of flowers and this like arbor and this beauty, and all I saw was Nene like this. Like, is it a gif or a gif? Where she'd be like,
yes,
on the jumpsuit, and that's the dress. And it was just like, you look great, but you look like somebody that doesn't look great.
I feel like we're missing the most important person and who killed it, Portia. Like, Portia absolutely killed it. I love her. Portia was amazing to me. Thank you, Dominique. Portia ate everybody at the wedding. I agree. I endorse.
Portia looked fantastic. Portia's dress, Portia's hair, Portia's makeup. Portia looked flawless. Her +1. You know?
I didn't even see the +1.
+1.
She being shady. He don't matter. It don't matter.
Lord. Yeah. Well, Jena.
Yes, I agree. Portia stole every guest. Everybody who received an invitation had to deal with Portia.
We love Portia.
Well, Portia won the battle of the wedding. So let's go ahead and get into our battle of the Browns.
My favorite time of the show.
Really? Well,
That's mine.
For those of you who don't know, Battle of the Brows, it's the brown skin version of Who Wore It Better. And, you know, we like to have fun with it, but this is really about styling. So I always like to put the disclaimer out there to please be nice. So let's see here. Did y'all see my screen?
Not right now.
Give me one more time.
Hit me,
like virtual learning chair.
I know, right? Excuse me, we're having technical difficulties.
I can see it. I can see it.
Y'all can see it?
We can see it.
All right, so we have Black China, Alexis Sky, and Bernice. They're in the Alejandro collection. For those of you who may be listening to us, they are wearing a corset that to me is similar to Michelangelo's painting of the 16th Chapel. But Joe, you can go ahead and give us a breakdown on these looks.
You want me to do it?
Sure.
All right. Okay.
So
half up, half down. Looks like a nice pink lemonade wig is what I like to call it. Like it's pink, but it's blonde. With the corset that does not have the sweetheart cut, but it works. And waist is snatched, hips are out. It's it's not monochromatic, but it's very warm earth tones. So moving on to Alexis Sky, bob wig, immature, I will never lie sunglasses.
I wonder how he's going to describe those sunglasses.
Her corset has a little bit more cool tones to it. It's the green, it's the tan. It's a good combination, and it has a sweetheart cut, but it's kind of only covering her nipples. But it's still a corset. And those are also paired with leggings, and I can actually see her shoes, which are white, very simple sandals that I do appreciate, but a black bag. Finally, Bernice with the diva cut wig is what we're gonna go with. It's curls and bangs, and a very nice jewelry piece with a sweetheart cut corset with the it's enough more warm tones, but more rosy warm tones. And this one is not with leggings; it is with a skirt. Mm-hmm. Kind of, almost.
It's see-through.
It really wants to be a skirt. Like on me, it would probably be a maxi skirt. But yeah, I think I covered it.
People are not feeling these. Look at these comments.
I was gonna say we are getting tacky. Throw it all in the way. Throw it all away. Well then.
No, Raina, we're not doing that boost again, honey. Absolutely not. No, we're not.
Y'all, where are they going? That's always my question. Where are they going?
We never know where they're going.
What event is this? I mean, and I know they're not all going to the same event, but like, is this giving me BET Awards or is this giving me like?
Why y'all always gotta be an investigator or a researcher?
Context. We need context for some of these
context.
I don't think they're going anywhere, if I'm being honest.
I was about to say Black China is a photo shoot, but the other two look like they are going somewhere.
Yeah,
so Kelly thinks that we were being shady. Chantel said they all look terrible too.
They all look terrible.
The thing is that a lot of people have been seen in this outfit, so it really wasn't shade. These are just three people. Like I think Khloe Kardashian had it on. I think Queen Naja had it on. Like this fit is making rounds. So
and to that point, I will say I bought something that is not similar to this, but it does not include a strapless corset bodysuit top. Like those pants are very reminiscent of something that I purchased that y'all have not seen yet. And don't drag me when I wear them because it will not look like that.
Uh-oh. Well, with that being said, Jena, do you have a selection?
I like Bernice's. I like what she did with her hair and her makeup. But if I had to go with like something that, I'm gonna say Black China.
All right.
I'm gonna say Black China because I like the way that she changed the top cut so that it's not sweetheart and not. It's just a little bit different, and it looks like manageable under a fur coat going somewhere cute, and I'm not mad at it.
Okay. Shalena?
I would have to agree. Like everyone else, I'm not a fan of it on any of them. But it's Black China for me. The hair, just the tones. I think it complements her skin really well. So I think she pulled it off the best.
Corbin?
I'm still weak at these comments.
These comments.
I have been dying from Rainbow Reject to let's talk about that wig or they all look terrible. I have been dying. But okay, so funny enough, I will have to agree. I think out of all three of these, Black China is giving me the best. Because I can't. I'm hoping Black China is like posing for Instagram or like a shoot of some sort. I feel like she's giving me like I'm home and I'm posing for this but to go out in it, I don't know.
I swear, Black China to me it's like she is like standing on the moon. Like it is like like it is a nowhere backdrop
on the dark side of the moon.
Yeah, and it stay.
Kathia?
Well, I think with the comments, most people have been saying Bernice. So I just want to throw that out there. But yeah, for my pick, I went ahead and went with Black China too.
Okay.
We all are on the same page. This is the first.
That is the first. I think that is the first.
It's the best word.
That is our Battle of the Browns. But today I wanted to do a special shout out because it's about to get a little rough in a second. So today we do have a somebody's son, and our somebody's son here. And you know, with this, I feel like we've mostly done somebody's daughter because we love to see our people just looking good, slaying the scene or whatnot. And today we have a guy on the list, and that would be Brandon Marshall. So I feel like I have to give some background.
Please.
So Brandon Marshall was a football player. And I don't know if you all knew, but years ago, like his life was like a complete mess. He was having a number of public conflict with his wife, and just a lot of nonsense going on that affected his career. But one of the things that I will say about Brandon Marshall is that I think that he's a good example of what it looks like to grow from certain things. And one of the things that I think is great about him is that him and his family, they took on this mental health wellness challenge. And him and his wife are still together. He's been doing a lot of community work. He has also been somebody who has been at the forefront of people voting and making sure that they're registered and having the knowledge, and also a mental health advocate. So just wanted to shout out Brandon Marshall, because when we get into some of these other people, there's some mental health issues that are present that aren't being addressed quite correctly.
Question, where is Brandon Marshall from?
I think is he from Chicago or Florida? Google.
I don't know. I was asking. I didn't know if he was from Alabama.
He played for the Dolphins, so that's why it came to me. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get into these Somebody Loves You. So here is where we have to address some of our people that aren't acting quite right. And do believe coaching over canceling. And, you know, when you love someone, you correct them, right? For the Christians, that's fine. So go ahead and give it to us, Corey.
I'm gonna give y'all a shorter version this time. Somebody loves you, baby. Now you can go on. Yes.
I feel cheated.
I didn't know it was gonna be that short.
I know. We're running up on time, so I want to keep us moving. But we have how many this time today? Do we have 2, 3?
Okay, so again, people, the last 2 weeks were so crazy that yes, this is a special edition of Somebody Loves You because there happens to be 2. All right.
And to be clear, these are 2 we don't mind talking about. There are plenty who aren't even worth the time. But these are the 2 that we landed on in the last 2 weeks.
So first up is Ryan Henry. For anybody who watched Black Ink Crew Chicago, me and Jena watched it for a while and fell off of it. But he's really big in Chicago. He's the star of the show. He has his own tattoo shop. And with him and his network, he was able to give a lot of different people opportunities. Well,
he was fine, y'all. He's beautiful.
He is fine. That's all I was talking about. I watched the show. I said the fine one. As soon as you said it,
that one.
Yeah. So I think all of the ladies will disagree. So what I'm about to tell y'all, brace yourself. Okay. I don't even know how to put all of this together. So Ryan Henry, he got called out for sleeping with the mother of his best friend's baby mother, who he happens to be the godfather of that child. So not to make light of it, but this is something that happens often. I don't know what's up with these godparents. It reminds me of like Usher. Remember he cheated? He cheated in his heart with his godparents.
Right. Right.
Absolutely not.
Listen, my godparents listen. I never thought that this godparent thing was such an issue. But anyway, what puts the extra layer on there is that when this happened, the best friend was actually battling cancer. So it's like, okay, this is like another level of just doing somebody dirty. So here's the thing. I think what he did was an awful thing to do. But for me, a lot of times, like when people make mistakes, I'm more so interested in how they handle it. Like we're all human, we make mistakes, and what happens next. And so Ryan, in true 2020 Instagram social media fashion, he takes to live or Instagram TV or whatever, and he basically admits that this happens, and he goes into this whole spiel about him being depressed and him being in a dark place. And I feel like we're at a point where we're talking about mental health a lot nowadays. And it's something that in conversation that you have to be careful that this isn't something that you're abusing. And I cringe when people have an awareness of a mental health issue, but they're not taking those next steps to resolve those issues to make sure that these type of things aren't happening again. And in the case of Ryan, it's like for you to say that you were depressed or you were in a dark place, this is your response to what you did. I don't think that that's fair. I feel like when you do that, you do not allow the person that you hurt to experience their own emotion and their own trauma from what you've done, because now you've switched it to where they have to be sensitive to you and you having a mental health issue. So my advice is, the next time you hurt someone and you want to share it as a mental health issue, don't. The best thing that you can do for that person is to work on yourself, to get treatment. And then as a whole, if you would like to be a mental health advocate and you want to show people what healing looks like, that's a beautiful thing. But it's not fair to use it as an excuse. And that's my word for Ryan Henry.
I canceled Ryan Henry a long time ago because I kind of saw this, not this coming, but I just saw somebody spiraling out of control. So I canceled Ryan Henry about 2.5 Black Ink Crew seasons ago.
Yeah, he's done some things. I think that this is the worst, and I feel like that's like, okay, you can't keep blaming this on being depressed.
And that's something to be said for people who don't know who he is. This is pattern behavior. This is not like, oh, a one-off drunken night, I messed up, I'm really sorry, I'm going through something. This is, I slept with one of the tattoo artists, I slept with somebody else, I did this to my girl, she kicked me out the house, I'm sleeping in the shop. But like, it's a lot. And for people who don't know, Ryan Henry's had a very traumatic past family-wise. His sister was murdered along with his niece. It was a very big like front page news thing, and because entertainment and football player it was just a lot. A lawyer, it was just a lot. So I understand the trauma, and he also did not have an easy life before that. So I get it. I get that he's hurting. But to your point, Kathia, I totally agree with you. If you want to blame something on, or if something that you're going through is attributed to a mental health issue and you want to share it, just don't. Take the steps to get the help that you need.
And it's not to say you can't talk to other people, but it is not fair to say that to the person that you hurt as your reason. That's not fair.
No, and I mean, I think it goes back to somebody else on reality TV that we've talked about, trying to just recruit people who say, I understand, you're not that wrong. I understand what you're going through. You're not wrong.
Well, are you ready for the next one?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to quickly point out, I love what Dominique said. Depression doesn't make you sleep with your friend's baby mom. And I just want to point out that
probably makes pretty wacky if you're a sick individual.
We gotta stop trying to. People really came out and said that it's ableist to say that just because Kanye West had bipolar, that he could excuse all his actions of being like kind of saying racist remarks or saying anti-Black things. Like, we can't use somebody's clinical anything or whatever issue that they may be having or disability they may have as a reason for them to be ugly and do wrong things. We can't just like that. And I'll leave it to Dr. Hurt to dress that up. But I just think that it could slide into ableism if we just basically say like, oh, these actions can be attributed directly to somebody being bipolar when they're either anti-Black or harmful or not right or just not good behavior at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think the symptoms somebody experiences definitely lead to erratic. I mean, bipolar and manic behavior leads to this erratic kind of behavior we've seen with Kanye, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it's been harmful and it's been hurtful, and it doesn't make it okay, just because that is a symptom, a byproduct of his disorder. So.
All right.
Well, next up, Jena.
I go quiet when we talk about Kanye. So.
I know.
Yeah. He's like a Kardashian for me, but anyway. All right. So next up, Jena, I'm gonna go ahead and let you take this way. You can go ahead and tell the people about.
You gonna let me finish?
Yeah.
Ryan Henry had the worst mental health excuse of all time.
Go on.
All right. For those of you who do not know, I'll try to keep it quick because I know that we are short on time and somebody on here don't want to miss a debate. Martell Holt is one of the stars of the show on the OWN network known as Love and Marriage Huntsville. It is a reality show based in Huntsville, Alabama, and it follows 3 families who have known each other for years. They network, they work together, they do business ventures together. There are there's a standout couple, a husband and wife, Martell and Melody Holt. They are pretty much up here, and it kind of just trickles down and whatever. So I'm not even going to get into the other couples because I'm not.
That's another show, another time.
There's a whole nother show. But Melody and Martell have gone through their fair share of issues. Melody has taken a lot of her pain and turned it into her purpose. I think that's a Dr. Jackie thing. But she, her and her husband have gone through bouts of infidelity. Martell has had a long time girlfriend that people have known about around town. Huntsville is not a big town. It's not unknown. He has done things that a husband and a father in that combination are not supposed to do. Like apparently the girl has claimed that she has gotten pregnant quite a few times. They have been dealing with each other for 5 years. He has bought her a car. There's been a whole lot of things going on with this mistress or this other woman that Martell has been entertaining but not claiming and actually calling a peasant for over 5 years.
Yikes.
Well, it has all come to a head. I was wondering why Melody moved to Atlanta. Because she was like, we are not the ATL, we are the ALA. And it says she moved to Atlanta. I was like, wait, what? So this week, Martell put a very cryptic message about telling people's business. You want to tell mine, I'm going to tell yours, and not just what you want people to hear. I'm going to tell people everything, which is very childish for a grown man to do. But I started doing a little research. And apparently Melody Holt went live on Saturday, and she said that it is confirmed that Martell's mistress is pregnant and she's keeping the baby, and the baby is due, I think, in December. Like, she pregnant.
Ooh.
And she filed for divorce and moved, and now she was trying to get the kids. She was doing something. Melody was doing something, and Martell was giving her a hard time. Like, she was trying to go back to the house and get like her bags, her things, and Martell started acting a whole-blown fool. And so she went on live and put all his business out there about what's going on with this other woman, whatever, what have you. The girl, I'm not going to put her name out there because it's just not necessary. But she has since like deactivated her social media accounts. She's gone. Like, it's not a secret of who she is. It's just the point of Martell handling it in a way with 4 children and 1 on the way that has become a forefront of, to me, a form of mental and emotional abuse for both women. And in my mind, a situation where he is trying to take the blame off of himself or find something wrong with how somebody else is handling his actions and how they react to them. And in my opinion, Melody can do much better. 1, this other girl seemingly can do much better. I mean, honestly, like, a trash can do much better at this point. But Martell has a lot of growing up to do. He is a father of soon to be 5 children. He puts on this, he's a professional. He has businesses. He's a family man. He's a great dad. He cooks, he cleans, he's Mr. Mom and blah, blah. But then when it comes time for people to talk about your indiscretions, it's like, you're not going to tell me, I'm going to tell on you. And it's just really childish. And I pray for Melody and the children. And I pray that Martell gets the help that he needs. And that is what is going on with Martell Holt, aka Martell Trash.
And I wanted to say, I feel like he uses those things as he uses what he does as a weapon, like to say that basically to justify him cheating. Mm-hmm. So he does all of these different things as far as him being a dad, him cooking, him cleaning, basically being an adult. And he uses that in a way to basically justify his actions. Like, well, I do this, that, and that. And so I don't understand why you're giving me a hard time of this, when the two aren't equivalent to how you treat your partner. Like, So
and they've had like public conversations on the show where she was citing some shortcomings and some room for improvement on his part that he was actually trying to use against her, and she was like, "Oh, I didn't tell you this. I didn't tell you that I needed that. You think you're really saying that I didn't do that?" So it gets to be like, it's not about what I'm doing for you or how hard I'm fighting for this marriage or what kind of wife I am versus what you're telling me that you want. Wherever you're doing out in those streets, that's what you want to do. And you can't keep abusing somebody at home and making them feel like them holding you accountable and being a 50-50 partner or even a 60-40 partner is justification for you to go out and do what you want to do at all.
I'm sorry. So Dominique said this, and I could just hear Melody to justify being an F-boy. And then she said, "Bye, Martell. Home.
Bye, Martell."
To justify being a F-boy. Like, they are so southern.
And if y'all don't watch the show, get into it.
I just started watching it. I just started watching it real quick, and I just want to say I'm on the first season. He's actually in therapy during that season and learning these things that he's expecting in his marriage and from his wife that are unreasonable and that are rooted in his childhood traumas. So I'm like, dang, what did you do with that insight to be here now? Like, but I'm still watching. So
I would say he continued to do the same thing.
And like we Shalena and I, we were talking before we started this episode. And we were talking about another couple, and Shalena and I were in agreement that what you allow is what will continue. So the first time your husband did it and you forgave him, okay. The second time your husband did him and you forgave him, the third time, the fourth car, the fifth year, the
second, the third, the fourth baby,
right?
Yeah, nah.
He showed who he was.
The second time I had to call a woman looking for my husband or asking you about my husband, no.
Whew, child.
No,
really 2020.
Not to say that Melody deserved any of that. I'm not saying that at all. But she definitely deserves to be happy, and I hope that she knows that as powerful as she is, that she believes that for herself and knows that she deserves better. And unless Martell is going through a life-changing experience and is called to God, I don't see that man being good enough for her.
Yeah, that's a good woman. You know how we always have to say that's a good man. That is a good woman.
That is an amazing woman.
Absolutely.
Shout out Melody Holt. I love you, girl.
Mel, we see you, Mel.
Welcome to the A. Ow. I'm about to turn that up. Well, we don't end on a bad note here. So next we have our Are You That Somebody? We're going to get into somebody who is doing something dope. And today, Jena is going to share our special Are You That Somebody?
I'm so grateful. I feel like I'm just talking and talking and talking. Okay, real quick.
Ain't that happen?
I'm sorry. I won't take too much of everybody else's time. I wanted to shout out a very, very dear friend of mine. She asked me, she said, "Can I be your second best friend?" Because she knows who my first one is. and I am so excited for her. My second best friend, Miss India Michelle. She just started a company called Blue Rose Creations. She provides personalized, handmade motivational journals and planners created to encourage, uplift, and support every woman on the go. You can go ahead and order on the Blue Rose _ creations, 2 underscores on Instagram, and a Blue Rose LLC on Facebook. She also has Blue Rose Creations at yahoo.com where you can place an order. Y'all seriously check her out. She does the planners that have like those like really cute sketches of women and like the white shirt and the denim that Kathia loves. And
I was gonna say I saw one. I was like, oh,
it's cute, right? And they got like
that's
the
her look.
and, like the long hair and the highlights. Like it's really cute, and you can find a nice aesthetic that works for you. There's a lot of motivational quotes and like keep going like on the pages. It's really, really, really cute. I've already pre-ordered mine. Please pre-order yours. Her birthday, she launched on her birthday, which was on Tuesday. So happy birthday. I'm so proud of you and I love you. And it's going to be amazing. Y'all, please check out Blue Rose Creations. Wow.
Yes,
shout out to belated birthday.
Yes. I'm going to check it out. Put my order in. I love stuff like that.
It's really, really amazing. I'm really proud of her.
All right, guys. Well, that's the end to another episode of Somebody Said TV. Our next one is going to be November 5th, and that is the Thursday after the official election date. And that will actually be our last episode of the season. So we don't have to mix it up because we're going to be so free from all of this politics and stuff. We're going to have some fun. We're going to plan something cute for y'all.
Yeah, we're going to take a break from all this heaviness.
Absolutely. But as always, you can find us on Somebody Said TV. That is on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Somebody Said, make sure that you like and subscribe. And anything else?
No, that's good.
All
Thank
right.
you guys for joining us and for being loyal and for always tuning in and chiming in. This is so much fun. This is like my favorite part of every other week.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, in Somebody Said TV fashion, we're going to go ahead and finish y'all off with Hot Boy.
Yay! Get my drink because, you know, I hold up the
Ready
wall.
for the weekend. Get me ready for the weekend.
Hey. Oh.
Y'all can't see, but I'm winding it up. I'm like,
Get it, Philly joint.
Oh.
Yes, throw the hair, honey.
Hey.
I'm too ready for the weekend. That's what it is.
Oh.